While the weather didn't cooperate, Newton still celebrated its 5th annual Indigenous Peoples Day indoors at Newton North High School. Newton News was there to capture the day. Despite the weekend's rainy weather, this year's Indigenous Peoples Day celebration was in full swing at Newton North on Monday. Miranda attended the celebration, selling her jewelry and her brother's art, and she shares what beadwork and Indigenous Peoples Day mean to her.
I've always enjoyed buying beadwork and wearing beadwork, and I found it as learning was a part of cultural preservation and self-expression, so that's why I began deciding to learn how to bead. I think Indigenous Peoples Day is really important to acknowledge the land that we're on, and also it's a way that we all gather together as from different tribes and different nations, as we each have our own powwows, but this is a time that everyone's together and celebrating our culture as a whole.
Historic Newton attended the event, and Allegra discusses what the organization hoped to teach people at their table.
We're raising awareness of the history programs that we do here in Newton. We run 2 historic house museums, help manage 3 historic burying grounds, and do lots of public programs, from lectures to walking tours. We have a documentary film screening coming up. But really what we're here to do is help share some resources about our local Indigenous history and get people connected to all of our fantastic community programming. We always like to remind people when they come to our museums that they are standing on Native land. There's more than 10,000 years of history of Native peoples living in here, what is now Newton. Many of the descendant tribes, including the Massachusetts, are still extremely active in our community today, and events like Indigenous Peoples Day help to connect that 10,000 years of history to what is going on in Newton now. So events like this help us to tell that very long story and show the thriving, active community that's here and part of Newton.
Cito talks about why he started his business and shares why his crafts and Indigenous Peoples Day are important to him.
I had reached a low point in my life. I was on a spiritual trek in Central America, speaking to one of our medicine men who suggested me to learn some of the crafts that you see here as a way to take a look at myself and kind of filter out what was not working for me. So we kept collaborating, kept passing on more traditions, and I started around 1990, 91. Making things from wood and from leather, and that's a way that I use to show him respect for the teachings he passed on to me. Indigenous Peoples Day gives us a chance to talk to folks who are interested in learning about indigenous cultures. My pleasure is finding parallels from traditions that have been passed on to us, traditions that I've partake with other nations, to folks who are not indigenous, and how that may be beneficial in their lives, helping them see everybody as people instead of labels or titles or positions, but as people. Part of the traditional way of life for us was being neighborly, and I think that that's sometimes a missing element here in this country. So on Indigenous Peoples Days, I get to bring that into the forefront and share with others how important it is, not just for myself, but for this whole country in general, that we go back to a form of being good neighbors, which is a very important aspect of traditional way of life.
Gina Dacey, Newton News, Newtonville.